Hey there, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. So, today I'm going to talk to you about anxiety. I have somebody that I'm doing some work with that says they have an incredible amount of anxiety and they can't get over it all the time, and they have real issues, okay? They're actually contemplating death. There's a lot of real things going on and a lot of real illnesses. And how do you deal with anxiety? So I'm just going to get into it real quick and give you some advice, some little tidbits, and maybe you could integrate this into your own practice of whatever you do in your life. So when you feel anxiety, I've coined a phrase that's just energy that you haven't assimilated yet. So let's dig into that a little bit. So when you feel that anxiety, where do you feel that? A lot of people feel it in their upper chest. They just feel it outside of their chest, or maybe around in their stomach area. They feel those butterflies. They just feel like they are disconnected from that energy, and it's just something that they're worried about and they can't deal with it. So the first thing is to remember your breathing, remember your breath. If you haven't meditated before, you're kind of like, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you can get into your breathing and just, we can only deal with one thing at one time. So when you lump everything together all at once, that's what makes you anxious as well. So you kind of think, I can't deal with this because then this, and I have this, and I have this. So there's all these different issues. But what you do is you kind of separate it. So you kind of can only deal with one issue at a time. And it's not fair to yourself to put them all together like that and then make this unbridgeable wall that you feel disconnected from. And that's that disconnected feeling that you have, that anxiety. It's just like, I'm not able to assimilate that energy. I'm not able to assimilate those ideas, those things. I'm not integrating them. So when you grant yourself acceptance into those energy systems, then you're able to integrate that more. And you want to just realize that gratitude and anxiety are basically polar opposites. So if you're thankful for being alive, thank you so much for being alive. How are you going to be upset that you're dying? You're grateful for the second that you're alive right now, okay? And you're not dying, you're living, focusing in on the end isn't helping the middle where you're at now. Everybody's gonna die, right? So we're all on the same eventual journey. We're all ending up dead eventually, but it's how you live your life that counts. So when you're assimilating that energy, you want to breathe into it and just kind of calm yourself down. Now, a lot of people can't calm themselves down normally. They just worry too much. You're just thinking things, and you want to realize that the mind is a thinking mind, and it's always looking for negative. So it's always looking to solve the problem. That's why it's there. It's there to get you through life, right? Your brain. So everybody keeps thinking things, but you're not feeling things. So, we disconnect ourselves off from our heart chakras and we're not connected. So you want to breathe into the heart chakra. You want to give yourself that energy and love that you need. And you want to really, really not worry about things, because things always work out, don't they? They always seem to work out. We always get to the end, no matter what. Whatever happens, we're there. You're gonna get there. And it's just, people are worried all the time. I had somebody recently, that was someone I know of a friend of a friend that killed themselves. And they were just kind of, and you wouldn't have known, they said, but they were kind of, didn't give off too many signs. But they were worried about things and they were anxious. And it's just so bad. So there's something called emotional intelligence, and I'm going to give you another one. There's IQ. So we have spiritual intelligence. We have a higher spiritual intelligence. So what does that mean? What's it mean to have a higher spiritual intelligence? Well, there's different ways of looking at things. And when you have a higher spiritual intelligence or an IQ, you're going to experience the same things that everybody else, okay? So an enlightened being, can an enlightened being feel anxious? Sure, an enlightened being can feel anxious. But the thing is that they get into that state and then they assimilate it and then they're back to normal real fast. Like where other people, you'll see them out in the world and they're going, oh, I'm so anxious. And they're anxious not for just a moment. They're not anxious for a minute. They're not anxious for an hour. They're anxious for days and days and days, and they can't get over it, and they feel like this is the way it is. And what happens is it's through mindfulness, through learning meditation, that you end up absolutely available to transcend different states. So you're feeling anxious and then you let it go. You feel this way and you let it go. So you're always, getting to that baseline state. And what you do is the more you meditate, the more you understand your baseline state. So you remember that baseline state so you can assimilate it back to the normalcy that you just don't have because, a lot of people are just in that anxiety state and they're maintaining that anxiety state. And they're drinking that coffee, they're doing the things that's going to maintain them in that anxiety state because they feel like it gives them an edge, some people. They're like, well, I'm anxious, but I got this done, and that's good. And then, it's not healthy for you. So we're not built to be anxious. We're built to be normal, right? That's normal. So you want to get to the normal state. You want to practice mindfulness. You want to be aware, and the only things you can control are in the present moment of now. So you can't control things that are outside of your control. So what you can do is you can control what you can control now. So we're always thinking of the past and future, but we want to think more in the present moment. What can you do now to fix your situation? If you did everything, then you have that completion. You have that completeness, and then you don't want to do anything else. You're done. You did it. So what else can you do? And then that's where you get the acceptance from. You're understanding that you can't do anything else. You already did everything already. You did what you were supposed to do, and that's all you can do. So is there more you can do? Well, the only place you can do it is now. So that's what I wanted to share with some people because they're very anxious. And then a lot of people would contact me because I teach meditation, and they say, I can't meditate. I'm too anxious to meditate. It's kind of funny. It's like I'm too, it's a polar opposite, right? But what I say is to work through your feelings and maybe write some poetry. So write out your feelings. It doesn't even have to be a poem. Just write your feelings out on a piece of paper and look at it. And that way you feel a little separateness from that feeling. So that way, once you understand what you're feeling, because you wrote it down and you read it, then you could have that separateness from that feeling, and then you could start to assimilate it. Because you're in the mix of it, you can't really understand what you're feeling, and you think you understand what you're feeling, but you don't. So that's why we have to communicate to others. We have to tell them, hey, I feel this way. I don't know what to do. And then they say, well, did you try this? Did you do that? Did you do this? So you just don't have that separateness from it. So it's both the separateness and then the assimilation. It's both. You have to kind of get to both. So you have to understand your feelings. and that way, and then you assimilate it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. Have a great day. Bye-bye.